Hello there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we're going to try and fix up this Atari Flashback. So this is a modern console, but obviously it's taking the games from years ago. So it looks like it's got 20 games built in, and here it is. There's something so clean about the Atari name and logo. I just think it looks so nice. So this was sent in to me by Lee, and it says here, Lee sent quite a few things into the channel over the years, and it says here, don't plug in the power adapter into unit as it seems to be giving out the wrong voltage. I have tested main unit with the correct voltage, but I think the adapter has damaged the internals. So, okay, we will heed that advice. Here it is here. Looks very plasticky, but then again, I presume it's going to be a relatively cheap unit. Things like this always seem to get slated on reviews, especially by YouTubers, and I just wonder, is it, I don't know, I think the people buying these things are probably not looking for the exact same experience they had when they were like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I think it's just a bit of fun, something somebody would buy a brother maybe for Christmas, or a sister, something like that. So yeah. Right, okay, let's see what this power adapter is doing. It says here, output 9 volts DC and it's center pin positive. Ooh, 18 volts. Wow, okay. I'm drinking my orange cordial out of my Kip Hicks mug. 18 volts, well that is very high. The thing is though, it might drop down. What is this actually supposed to be taking? Yeah, 9 volts. It says here 9 volts. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Right, so it looks like it's going to be a fix on the actual power supply. Can it be taken apart? Well, there is a couple of screws here, like security screws. They look like triangles. But the thing is, it's not under load, is it? Also, the cable looks like it's been chewed here. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take this apart and see what's on the inside. And maybe we can actually plug it in and measure, because maybe it will drop to 9 volts when it's actually in use. There might be more hidden screws under here, but I can see 4 screws. Is there anything under the quality control? No. I would have thought that would have been put over one of the screw holes. Ooh, Blob's Chip Central. Look at this. Right, okay, well if there's something on the board, it won't be getting fixed because there's nothing on this board apart from a couple of diodes, a couple of caps, a resistor and blob chips. Alright, a transistor down here as well. Yeah, okay. Right, so we want to... I wonder now, there's nothing on here that's going to get damaged. Should I unsolder it from here and then plug it into here and see what it's doing? I think that would be a good idea. Let me get my desolder station on and I'll unsolder it from here, and then you see the only thing it's going to blow up here is this thing here. It's nice that it's got the little logo down here of the Atari, but it actually says Mini 7800. 1 second now, because I'm not a man that knows my Ataris apart from the 2600. Let me look up if Atari 7800 was a thing. So I was thinking it doesn't really look like a 2600 at all, does it? Right, here it is, Atari 7800, and sure enough, it does mimic this small with the little buttons down here. Look at that one there. Well, that's pretty good. I looked up, these came out in 1986, not this, the original one. Do you know what? I should look at more Atari consoles on my channel, because I've only ever done 2 2600s. And for example, you know, I didn't even know really that this existed, so I bet there would be some interesting fixes on some faulty later Atari models. So yeah, I like it even more now. Get rid of this ribbon cable here. Now what we can do is we can put the voltage in safe knowledge that we're not going to blow, because we're disconnected here, any off the blob chips. We're only going to blow this voltage regulator here. So I'm going to plug it in now. Is it going to go bang? No, okay, no bang. Let's see, has it dropped to 9 volts? Now there's load. Well, mind you, is there load? I suppose that's going to be putting a bit of load on it. I can't get to it. Can I get between here and here? 17.3 volts. Right, okay. What's happening on here, I wonder? 17.3. 12. Whoops. 12, 5. Okay, so it looks like we've got 5 volts coming out. So let's go across these ones here and see if we have 5 volts, because maybe this is happy. I'll have to Google that, see if it's happy with 18 volts going into it. Can I work out which is the ground here? Let's go across some capacitors. So that might be ground. Well, I would say that that's ground there. So, back to voltage, because we had a short between that pad and one of the legs of the capacitor, one side of the capacitor. Let's see, have we got 5 volts coming down here? Not on that one. 5 volts. Yeah, there we go. So it's 5 volts, which you would think that this would run on. I think the old Ataris run on 5 volts, and they could accept a range of inputs. Right, let me look this up. It says 7805 on it. I want to see, let's unplug it for the time being. I want to see, is it happy with an 18 volt input? If it is, then happy days. Okay, so there's a whole range of them. A7805 is my one because it's 5 volts. If it was 808, it'd be 8 volts. If it was 810, it'd be 10 volt output. And if you have a look here, it's a 3-terminal positive regulator. You will see here, we have the voltage in, ground in the middle, and voltage out. And it says the absolute maximum ratings. Look at that. Input voltage, 35 volts. Very high, isn't it? It must produce some heat, mustn't it, when it gets to 35 volts? And yeah, it says here on the output voltage, it says 5 volts. 4.8 to 5.2, 5 volts, typical. So I'm going to solder the little ribbon cable back on, and then let's connect it up to the TV and see what it's doing. Because I don't think it matters that the power supply is 18 or 17 volts if it can handle 35 volts. Right, check this out. I've plugged it in. I've got it weirdly balanced because annoyingly my leads at the back here, they're like better quality leads, and they're not much, there's a lot of shielding and stuff on there. And there's not much of this middle bit on show, so it can't really get a full-on grip into the phono jacks, the RCA jacks at the back. But I don't think that's the problem. If you have a look, it's giving me a weird picture. There, you see? Can you see there's just dots? I'm going to get my bench power supply and I'm just going to feed this with 12 volts just to see if... yeah, look at that, it's different again. You know what I mean? Just to see if it's working. Maybe it's something to do with heat on that regulator, that the voltage, the 5 volts is pushing through, might be unstable. And maybe this needs to see a really nice clean 5 volts in order to work. Yeah, that's not right. Okay, bear with me. Okay, I've got my bench power supply set here, and I've got it set to 9 volts. There we go, 9 volts, and when I touch the leads together, the other ones were 300 milliamps, and if you have a look here, 330 milliamps. So let's plug it in, center pin positive. Now let's see if it comes alive. So not drawing anything right now. Let's turn it on, and it is drawing only 0.048 of an amp. Very little. We still don't have anything. It's annoying. I just wish I had perfect leads at the back because I don't want to be chasing a fault that's not there. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out the casing because then I will be able to plug it in properly, because you can see I'm going to have there's going to be room. Ah, that's better. Right, now let's see, are you going to work? Let's go back with the bench power supply. Plug it in here and turn on. No, you're not going to work. I wonder, do you know what? Let's put 5 volts directly into here. You know, directly onto the pins. So we're bypassing that voltage regulator. So we need to go on to, let's put it down to 5 volts. I'll leave the amps where they are. And let me leave it on at the, I don't know what's on and off. I'm on 4.9 volts, and I'm going to go to ground and the second pin in. No, So you can see it's nothing to do with that voltage regulator. I'm going straight onto the board now and it's not working. I'm going to say this is a no fix, but let's bring it over to the mat and let's just see if there's anything obvious on here that I've missed. Now, before we deep dive into this circuit board, I'm going to let Mickey tell you who this video is sponsored by. 2 years later, 2 years, and you're still drunk. Enough animals in this house. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. Now I hear you ask, who are PCBWay? Let me tell you. PCBWay have over a decade experience in the PCB industry. They have state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities and they use the latest technology to produce high-quality PCBs that meet your specification. At PCBWay, they have a range of services including PCB prototyping, PCB assembly, flexible PCBs, high-density PCBs, CNC machining and 3D printing. So if you need your project to be lightweight, for example a drone project, then you might want to look into flexible PCBs. Not only are they lightweight, but they're also space-saving and they can withstand extreme temperatures. So they might be a better fit for your project over rigid printed circuit boards. So a massive thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring the My Mate Vince channel. Now, let's get back to this Atari Flashback. Now, what could this be? The problem is when you see so many of these glob top chips or blob chips, then yeah, I mean really, there's not really much you can do, is there? Because they can't be changed out. You know the power button works, reset seems to do something. This is all immaculately clean. Now, one thing we didn't think of is down this ribbon cable, we also have it going to the video out. So I think we need to look at that because maybe it's a video out problem rather than the fact that, mind you, there was no sound. But this also runs down here as well, doesn't it? Of course. Let's see what's going on with this because maybe we've missed something. So now, where are these connected to? Here and here. So they're both connected there. Fine. This middle one is connected. Now, is it a good connection or a bad connection? Tell you what, let me get my leads. Right, so I've plugged these into here and now I'm on the other side of the lead here. So this will prove that it's going right the way through. So onto the middle ones because we're not bothered about the ground, we know they're okay. Right, that's going and I'm just going to give it a little wiggle around. That's making a good contact. It's not that. Let's do this one. And it's not that. Right, so it's not the contacts there. They're okay. Let's see where they go to. So the video one is this one here. That goes to this end pin, which then goes along the board here, which then goes all the way around to, it looks like, that resistor. So now let's see if we have contact between here and that resistor. We do. So we know that's okay. Let's do the same for the audio. So the audio goes along to that pin there, the second one along. Second one along goes through here to this resistor here. So let's do that one to this resistor. Right, we know that's okay. So I don't think it's anything to do with that, but at least now we know where the display goes to. So I think we should concentrate on the video, which is this resistor here. That says 101, so that's going to be a 100 ohm resistor. And if we have a look there, 106 ohms, that's close enough. So we know it's going to be okay from the lead right the way back to this side of the resistor. Then what do? You go up to this transistor here and also this one. So 272, so that's a 2700 ohms. Let's now check that one. And then that goes into this transistor. Annoyingly, CRCS, I'm not going to be able to find out what they are, I don't think. Yeah, that's 2722. This then goes to here. Yeah, 222, looks about right. Down to here, what's this? A capacitor. Could the caps have failed? This is possible. So maybe the cap's not right and that's putting a, you know, making the signal bad. What else we got on this board? So we do, that's the only cap, and we do have a cap here as well, but we know it's not this one because we've bypassed straight onto the board here. Should I just, rather than fault finding for ages, in this instance, should I just pop that cap out just to see what it's testing, because it is from 2004, it is quite old now. Just get a quick reading from this cap. So it's supposed to be 100 microfarad. That's annoying, 105. I think that cap's okay. Let's check it for ESR, just in case the resistance is high on it. Okay, so 25 volts, 100 microfarad. Worst case scenario is 0.32. No, so worst case is 0.32 and it's only 0.17. But saying that, there is it even worth changing that? It's not going to be that, is it? I wonder, could it be the crystal? Purely because I've got it out already, I'm just going to swap it out, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. So there we go, these are 100 microfarad at 25 volts. You can see the board shaded where the negative goes, so it's easy to know. Right, I'm just going to get the power supply in here. I just want to get my scope. I just want to go across the pins of this crystal just to see if it's doing anything. It says here TN 26.601, so I presume that's the frequency. Right, so I'm going to use the ground from up here, and this is the crystal here, and I'm turned on at the moment. If I go here, it is giving me something. If you have a look at the you know, there's no line, and now there's a line. Right, so that's off at the moment. It's not doing anything. Turn it on. And there you go, it's doing something, isn't it? I think that crystal's working. Right, let's plug it back in. Just possibly by changing out that capacitor, it might have started working. Right, here goes. I've got it plugged into the original power supply, not the benchtop. Let's turn it on. Red light there. Oh, still nothing. It's weird though. It's slightly different than before. Let me try to put my fingers across the crystal, see if anything changes. Okay, check this out. I did a 10-year-old Vince approach, which is basically, years ago, I would just kind of feel everything and see if something would come to life, and it's worked in this instance here. So watch this. You see this particular blob chip here, which is soldered on. If I put pressure on the chip, so sorry, well, first of all, when I turn it on now, you can see that there's nothing happening on screen, just those black dots. But now, watch this, turn it off, pressure on the blob chip, turn it on. Ta-da! Working. Let me see if I can actually move around. Adventure, AFC. Does it let me select that? Doesn't let me select it. Maybe I'm in the wrong one. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Oh no, it's just gone funny. Right, let me turn that off. So it's something to do with that blob chip. I think it's going to be a bond wire which has gone. Let me just turn that on again. Oh, it's probably these side ones to select, isn't it? Yeah, bear with me. Yeah, it's that every time I wobble that blob chip, it comes and goes. So watch this now. When I don't have my finger on it and turn it on, I have dots. And now if I turn it off, put thumb down on the blob chip. Let me try that again. Yeah, there we go. Right, let me see. Yeah, there we go. No sound though. Why have I not got any sound? Right, so obviously that blob chip is failed, and when I let go of it, you can see now it's seized up. It's not moving anymore. Well, you couldn't see those planes anyway, could you? That's a real shame, that. I'll try to resolder each of the pads there, but as far as I can see, it's the actual blob chip itself. But anyway, let me resolder just in case. Right. Is there anything that looks obvious? So the blob chip itself looks okay, there's no cracks going across it. I call it a blob chip, a lot of people call them glob top chips. Much of a muchness. It's basically a chip with a load of little bonds wires going from the chip to the board, and then they cover it in this blob stuff here. I was told before that you could get something to eat away at this, I'm going to call it a resin, but it's supposed to be, I think, quite harmful to health. And also the bond wires are going to be tiny. If you see me use 0.1mm wires in other videos, I'm thinking the bond wires are probably going to be 1/100th of the size of that. And I don't even think they're soldered. I think they're too small for that. They're ultrasonically bonded or something like that. I've been told about it before, but you know, unless you're dealing with it all the time, it slips your mind again. But the problem here could be caused by not the actual chip itself. It might be where you see these little wires are, you see these solder where the blob chip board attaches onto the main board. There's loads of connections to solder onto, but there's also like little wires there with holes in. So maybe it could be a problem here with a cracked solder joint. So I'm just running the soldering iron across all of them just to make sure they're okay. And you never know, that might be when we're pushing down the blob chip, it might be just flexing the board a bit, and it might be making a cold solder joint good again. Right, I'll just use my old camera instead. No, there we go, so still not working. And now let's put pressure on this blob chip here. No, right, it's not working now at all, even when I put pressure on here. You know what, by applying heat here, maybe I've got rid of that bond wire completely now. Not got rid of it, but you know, maybe it's a long distance away. Yeah, it's not having it, even when I put pressure down. Well, that is a shame, because beforehand, consistently, every time I squeezed or put pressure on the blob chip, it came to life. And now, doesn't matter how much pressure I put down, it doesn't seem to do anything. Also, the little dots have gone from the screen as well. This is unfixable, unfortunately, because it's a blob chip. I can't unsolder the blob chip. But luckily, when you look at the board, this blob chip is on its own little board. So it's the best blob chip to fail, because it means that if I was to get another board, maybe this would come to life again. Anyway, for the time being, I just want to see if I can grind away some of the resin, just to see how big the blob chip is, just to see if we can see any of the blob wires. I'm just curious, so I'm just going to attack it now with the grinding pen. Obviously, this is completely destructive, but it's broken anyway. I can't repair this blob chip, and I don't think anybody else would either. So, yeah, we might as well have a little bit of fun with it. And while I'm doing that, I'll read out My Mate Vince Massive. The members this month of the Massive are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky. Having Fun Repairs, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJVG, Pigsy, Robert from Timsy's Auto Air, Daniel Watson, Zeke C, Anthony Dean, Bazatu, Russ Melanson, Ellis Garbett, Gaspar Heller, Richard Bergland, and Jacob Colpin. Thank you so much. Now, obviously, this was massively fast forwarded through. I was actually grinding this for a good 10 or 15 minutes, but yeah, we're starting to make progress now, and you can see a bit more of the inside. So there we have them. You see all these tiny little squares here. I think, see, I've ground them away there. I've ground them all the way here, but I think these ones would have had little wires going from here, little bond wires, tiny little things from here to here, here to here, here to here, etc. Going along. Yeah, you can see they kind of line up, you know, that one there, they do sort of line up. Yeah, just give that a little clean. And then this chip would have gone all the way to here, and then there would have been bond wires going across. So yeah, unfortunately, I think just one or two bond wires just failed going onto here. Now, I should have called it a day on this, but it's just I hate not having a positive outcome on a video if possible. So I've bought myself one spares or repair on eBay. I can't remember if I paid £10 or £20 or £9. I don't know, but I want it to finish up the video. I'm sure I could get a working one for the same amount of money, but still. Right, I know this is probably going to be much more fixable than this one, but if you look at this one, it does look new, while this one doesn't. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. Rather than fault finding this one, we know that this one works apart from the blob chip. why don't I try to just unsolder the blob chip and put it on here. Now, I'm not going to use hot air because I've had a bad experience in the past with these blob chips popcorning very quickly when you add heat to them, because I suppose there's not much mass there really. So I'm going to use some low melt solder on the pins on the side, and I'm hoping if I use my soldering iron and keep going back and forth on the sides that I might just be able to lift it off. I'm not sure, the chip might be a bit big for that, but let's give it a go. Apologies about the mess here. I'm in the middle of trying to fix up a Sega Saturn, so that's why it's so messy. So that's my thinking, using low melt solder on the good chip, and I'm also going to use low melt solder to take off the bad chip because there's loads of other blob chips dotted around the place waiting to fail, so I don't want to put heat anywhere near them. And then I'm going to clean up the pads and I'm going to put on the good chip onto Lee's board using the soldering iron. So again, no heat should really be getting as far as the blob chip. All the heat's going to be very localized. So it takes quite a while to do that, probably about half an hour or so, but it's quite enjoyable. Sit back and listen to a bit of music while we're fast forwarding through that.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Mountain laurel high fives for miles in spring. Rainbow trout and a hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Gold hair, gold rings, gold leaves, gold anything, golden, I'll follow only golden, golden, golden things. Walk up the river by my son. Feet step over splinters of the moon. Golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Gold birds, gold string, gold words, gold anything, golden, I'll follow only golden.
Right, okay, so you can see now there's plenty of solder on each one, and apart from this one here, there's no bridges. And remember, this is the one that has the bridge on the actual board, so it's supposed to be. And that's how there's loads of solder on each of them. So let's get it back on the TV and see if it's working. Right, here goes. So it's only mono for the audio. Plug that in there. Plug the power in. Fingers crossed. What? Why have we got no power? Oh, come on. We've got no power. Oh, come on. Right, back over to the Back over to the mat, maybe one of the connections from the little ribbon cable from the power board at the back has broken on the main board. Hope now that chip isn't completely different and it only works with the blob chips on this board. I've definitely got it on the right way because there's a little 1 on the board here and a 1 on the separate little board that I just soldered in. So it's definitely correct. Can you see the 1 there and the 1 on the board? Thing is, even without that chip, I would have thought the power light would have come on. Well, the switch is working because look, we've got no voltage there now. And then when we turn it on, we have voltage. Right, I can see, I'm sure it's not going to be that, but on this chip here, there is a tiny little bit of solder that's gone onto this bottom pad, just a tiny, tiny little bit. If you look at this one, there's no solder on that one there, it's just these two that are bridged and them two. So I'm just going to take it off that bottom one just in case. Right, so that's free from there now. Let's see now, are you going to light up? Yes, you are. Yes! Excellent. Right, fantastic. So when I was messing around here with the low melt solder, a tiny little bit must have just gone across that and bridged to that one there. So hopefully now it's going to work. I hope it's going to work. Can you see there? There was just bridged slightly onto that bit. And through the beauty of editing, I can actually show you exactly when that happened. I'm hoping that's going to mix in with the unleaded solder and lower the temperature right down. If I do have to use hot air, it'll be a lot less now anyway. I want to see if I can remove this without hot air. Here we go, look, it's already moving. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to be able to do this without... There, look at that. Keep moving. Fantastic. How amazing is low melt solder? Did you spot it? You had to be quick. There you go. Now, just as the soldering iron moves across the board there, it taps it and smudges it just before I knock it off the board. Right, let's just make sure we are on side AV. Yes, we are. Fingers crossed. Please, please, please work. Come on. I don't believe it. The power light's not on. Oh, I'm not plugged in. I was about to have a mini fit. I was about to have a full-on rant. Oh, come on now. Come on. Please be good to me. I heard something. I heard something. Why does it say no video available? Yes! Hold on. Do you know what it is? It's the leads. Like I said earlier, I haven't got the proper leads for this. I should be able to, they should make a contact. Come on. I heard the sound. Do you know what? I used to be man off leads and now I'm starting to run out of them. I've given so many leads away that I haven't really kept enough for myself. Did you see it? I seen it there for a second. I seen it. It's there. Result. Balance, balance, balance. Yes! Fantastic. That isn't a dodgy connection on the machine. It's purely my leads. The shielding is far too big on them and it doesn't allow for them to be plugged in because they're made for other equipment. But there you go. It's here. Yes. What have they got? Centipede. Has to be... Oh, haunted house. Saboteur. That rings a bell. Sprint Master, is that the car one? Let me just see that one a second. Let me see what this one is. Right, ready? Right, so, yeah, I've got it. Button to power under red. Do they give me little boosts or anything, these things here? Traction, yes they do. God, I'm all over the place. It's working. Fantastic. So persistence paid off. Oh, so they're little boosts, speed boosts there. So let me get that lined up. Oh, not that one. Oh, sorry. That's for the blue. That's for the red. Right, I've got it. Okay. Right, okay, that's working. I just want to do centipede because I remember that at when I was a kid. And it was lovely because you had a rollerball, a big, I think it was white or red or something, a massive rollerball, and vroom, vroom, you would just like whack it around the place. So that was nice. Oh, here we go. I'll listen to that music. Let me just complete this level. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, the controllers are a little bit irritating. They feel quite plasticky. But it's to be expected, I presume it's a cheap device. One more. Oh, come on, Vince. There. Excellent. Well, we got there eventually. Oh yeah, I forgot you can move up as well. Yeah, of course, because the rollerball would let you go up and down. You know what? It still is a great game, isn't it? Because of the playability of it. Imagine that with a rollerball on an arcade when you were 10 years old. Right. So yeah, there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. Massive thank you, Lee, and I will see you all again very soon. Take care, everyone.